I don't know. Oh, no, not it. What? No, don't tell me that. I'm trying my best. Right. Probably not. Mm-hmm. Hmm.
I'm not buying it. What the hell? Still not seeing it.
I got it.
Yeah, I got it on my phone to share it, but I'm still waiting for it to pop up on like my desktop YouTube page so I can look at the chat while we do this.
Yeah, it just says live chat for
Yeah, I got
me.
it on my phone to share it,
Or
but
is
I'm
it
still waiting
two?
for it to pop up on like my desktop YouTube page so I can look at the chat while we do this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Strange Planet Podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Strange Planet Podcast, the strangest of all the podcasts on the strangest of all the planets. We are your hosts. This is at the bottom here. You don't know you're on the bottom, James, but you're on the bottom.
Oh, I'm on the bottom. I'm James May.
And we got
Mike Peterson.
Mike Peterson back with us. Heck yeah, guys. What's up?
Hello. And that's Corey James. That's Corey James. He's Corey James. Or is he on the right? Where if I'm on the bottom,
I'm on the top right.
Corey.
Mike's on the top left.
Is that right?
No,
Is that
other way. Yeah,
Corey?
there you go. That's
Corey.
me.
Corey James. That's Corey James.
I'm Corey
Yeah.
James.
Hey,
Welcome to the Strange
on
Planet
this evening.
Podcast. Episode
It's been-
110.
110.
Stella, stop. She's standing outside my door just screaming, like making like
Your face.
Yeti sounds.
Oh, nice.
So I close the door and then I see a foot slide under the door. So what's up, guys? How we doing?
Nothing. I do well.
We do well.
How about yourself?
I'm living. Mike, how are you?
Doing well, man. Happy to be back on the podcast.
Yeah, it's been a while
It really has.
since the basement,
I'm not used to all these screens.
right?
Yeah, it's different. It's a different thing. Different way to go about it.
It's professional. We're professionals.
I'm
Right,
digging
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's that. If that's what you call it.
We only do things professionally.
Let's not get ahead of us.
All right, so we got a lot of cool things to talk about today. If I could find my list, some things from the past that have already happened are like permanently set in stone. We got some things that have to do with that flowering into more money out of your pocket. We got more reboots because that's just every effing week of our lives. Someone's rebooting something from our childhood that shouldn't be. And we got some political stuff. You know how we like to roll at the end. We like to get a little heavy. Yeah, James likes the heavy. So let's dive in here. So Disney finally put the kibosh completely on Fox. There will be no more Fox anything. There's no more logo. No more movies will be released with that logo. We will not see that name.
No more.
Da-na-na.
Yeah, dude,
Da-na-na. It's sad. It's a sad day.
It is.
Like, we all
hey,
just-
we rang it out, I guess, right there. But it's I agree. Could continue. I'm
Well,
sorry.
no. That's what I
Because
want.
I don't know. I don't know a lot. It's like
That's it.
other than Disney, it's gone.
Right. Well, they
So
bought
now
it last
everything
year.
that it was,
Right.
and then it will still be, but it's just under a different name and no more that.
Well, that's kind of. I thought. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm obviously wrong because of what's happening right now. But I thought when they bought it, they were still going to keep it. Like they were still going to release movies
Right.
under the name, the property of Searchlight,
Right.
Fox Searchlight, or 20th Century,
20th Century
Fox or whatever it was.
Searchlight.
Yeah, I thought that. And then out of nowhere, they're just like, nope, no more Fox. And how does that make you feel, Mike? How does that make you feel? Like that's our childhood.
I'm just like, I'm upset that I'm not going to get that theme in the big screen anymore. Like, I can't go to the theater and sit down and just hear those, like, that drum roll blared at me. And, like, it's just attached to a lot of movies that, like, how's Disney going to go about, like, re-releasing any copies of Fight Club at this point? You know what I mean?
It's gonna
Like,
have to be there. They're gonna have to be there.
I assume anything that was already under the Fox
it
property
still
will
be.
have that.
I mean, I watched. I don't know this. You said this is just new and it just happened, but I watched something on Disney Plus. Maybe it was Apocalypse. I think X-Men Apocalypse, and it had the 20th Century to it. Now that was like last weekend, so maybe it'll be different now, but it was still there then.
I don't think they'll spend the money or the time.
Right. To
get rid
do
of
that.
things
That's a
like
little
that.
silly. Right.
'Cause-
Leave it there because it's now their property, so it's not like it's infringing upon them to do it. So, like you said, why spend the money to do it?
Right.
Good point. It'll still be there on the old stuff.
That makes me feel a little bit better.
I would think so, and if
Oh,
not,
yeah.
that's fucking
No, I mean,
shit.
and even if not, you still got your movies, your DVDs, whatever your favorite, like.
Right.
If I put Sandlot on, I expect to see it, stuff like that. I'm not gonna. It's not there's not gonna sneak into my house and somehow cut it out of my DVDs.
I don't want to have to drop any back in my days when I'm putting DVDs into like a dusty old DVD player to show this to people.
Well, that kind of like. So a lot of movies that I loved when I was real little were touchstone pictures with like the weird piece of bark that like lit up in the blue dot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a gold dot with the blue flares. And,
Yeah.
Was
it a feather
blue
or a
dot,
piece
a
of
gold
bark?
feather. I think it was a feather.
Feather?
I think it touched.
I always thought it was a piece of bark.
Were they just absorbed by somebody, or like did they just discontinue entirely?
Probably.
Disney bought
Right.
them in the
Right.
90s.
They bought everybody. New Line. They probably have New Line.
New
too,
Line Cinema is
everything.
owned by Disney. So I thought that it would have been a good idea for them. So right now, if you get on Netflix or you get on any other streaming service, there's still things being dished out to other streaming services that Disney owns. Lots of stuff that they're not putting on Disney Plus. Maybe rated R stuff from Fox or different properties that they own now. I thought, like, for a while there, they kept New Line Cinema and they kept Touchstone Pictures going so that they could release R-rated
Those
movies
types.
while not being Disney. So people don't see
Right.
the Disney logo and don't think, oh, why is Disney making a rated R movie? Wouldn't it have been a good idea to keep the Fox? Because people like Fox.
Right. That would have been a better idea. You would think. Like, why not?
Right. And there was another thing that I had.
But there's also probably a rebranding idea. The reason they just washed it is because somebody has a new idea for the new
the new Alien.
production house. No, the new production house that they will be
Right.
using, a different name, whatever. It'll probably be a streaming service of all, like, whatever. That.
Well,
All the- I
Hulu-
see crime movies coming.
Hulu is owned by Disney,
Okay.
so that's probably where they'll keep
Ew,
putting
that
their.
makes sense. That's why I don't love Hulu.
Is that entirely now, or are they just primary shareholders for that?
I don't know if it's entirely, but they definitely have a share, like a part of it, to where they have like an agreement where certain things go to Hulu. But they still have that agreement with Netflix with some of their movies too. I know a lot of them are petering off now, but like I said, if you think about it, if you go on Netflix and you look through their catalog, there's a lot of Fox properties on there.
Mhm.
And slowly some of them are getting pulled over to Disney Plus, but I don't know if I don't know if you're going to see Alien pop up on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, right? Yeah, because who thinks Disney and thinks Alien?
Yeah, you're going to see Covenant or what is Blade Runner? Is that Fox?
Sony.
Yes, that is Sony Pictures.
That's
Sony.
Sony.
Pictures. Okay. So we won't have to worry about that.
Right.
Is the new one? 2049?
both of
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the billboards on the sky. That's, oh man, when I saw 2049, I'm like, yep, thank you for the Sony, the big ass Sony and the big Atari.
Right, the giant Coca-Cola.
Still there. Coca-Cola just still there. Like it's oh man, great.
That movie is art.
It
I
really is.
wanted to watch Blade Runner so bad the other night because I saw something on YouTube and they were talking about it, and I was like, man, I want to watch that. And the only way I can watch it is if I borrow it from James because I don't have it. So I thought about buying it on Vudu. I think it was actually on sale right now. It was like $5, but
Probably should have.
I should have. Yeah.
I need to back the original and not the remake, but the sequel here shortly.
Right.
I watched the sequel entirely too much, and that's why I did. It was on something. It was, or maybe I don't know. I borrowed it from you a while ago.
I think it's on Vudu. Didn't
It might have been on Vudu
Josh
for a
buy
little
it? I
bit.
think it's on Vudu.
Oh.
No, I think you have it on there.
If I do, I'm going to be entirely upset with myself for not watching it the other night.
I think. I might be wrong, but I think I've watched it on there because I bought it digitally, and so I have it as well. But
Yeah, because I've watched 2049 like so many damn times. It's such a good movie. Like, it's freaking beautiful.
it really is.
And the first one, I've only watched maybe twice. Like, I watched once full through, and then whenever I watched it that last time, I think it was like later at night, and I fell asleep, and I tried to watch pieces of it. And it's so good. But
It's slow and kind of bad.
well, it's not bad.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying bad. It's Ridley Scott, and I love Ridley Scott, but that you have always said it, Corey. It's the slow.
Oh, his final act.
Yeah,
That's what he does. That's
The
Ridley
end.
Scott. Yeah, I mean,
Right. The
but that's
end just comes at you.
But that's not a bad. I love Alien.
It's not.
I will
I like
rewatch Alien over and over and over and over again because it is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Like, am I wrong?
And it's sci-fi and horror.
Yeah, you know I like my sci-fi too. So.
Scott did 2 also before Fincher took it for 3, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So he wrote 2049, is what you're saying?
No. Philip K. Dick wrote 2049.
Oh.
The screenplay, I think Ridley Scott. We were talking about Alien, right? Weren't we
Yeah.
talking?
We were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 2 and 3
Yeah.
is what we were talking about. The 2 and the 3.
We want to talk about Alien, man. I've read all the books.
Gotcha.
Like
I have not.
the third book that replaces the third movie is like phenomenal, and then the fourth book is so good, and then River of Sorrows is like just so. If you ever get to read those books, man, they're so good. Way effing better than Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, and then the one where she's a clone, or what is that? The one where she's a clone,
Yeah, I think Resurrection's
and
the
they
clone one.
somehow they clone the baby in or
I
something.
only really know
somehow.
like 2, 1 and 2 mainly.
Yeah, I've
3,
never seen
3,
Resurrection.
3 I get to like meh, and Resurrection I watch like once, and I try again, and I can't. It's just like it's not 1 and 2. Even 2's the one with the come on people.
That's
We're
because
gonna do
that's
this. I hate
James
that
Cameron.
guy. I hate that guy.
It's
Yeah,
James Cameron. It's run of the mill action movie. I mean,
That's
he took a good, slow, like
Build up,
strategic,
thriller.
thought out,
Like,
sci-fi horror, and he made it a blockbuster action movie in the sequel. And then the third one, they like the whole second movie was trying to save the little girl, Newt, and they do it. And then the third movie comes, and they kill her off screen between the two movies. I hate the third one. The third one just bothers me beyond belief. But rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole. Yeah, we went down it. No more Fox.
No more Fox, and we knew that. I mean, it's been over a year. It's almost been 2 years now since Disney acquired Fox. What do you guys think about so New Mutants is dropping in theaters? Don't ask me why. I don't. Idiots. But they're dropping it in theaters in what, like 10 days? It's August 28th, I think. That still has the Fox Searchlight logo at the beginning.
Okay.
So is that going to be like the last movie to release?
I don't know.
I mean, that's the last one that I'm aware of that hasn't been put out yet, just because they kept on pushing that. But I know they did a bunch of rewrites and stuff for that, reshoots for the movie.
Tons of reshoots. That's crazy though, to think about a company that's as big as Fox going for, I don't know, how long have they been around? 40 years?
More than that, I would think.
50 years? 60
I
years?
don't know. I have no idea.
And then ending on like their final movie that's released is a movie that's been trying to be released for almost 3 years now. And It might not be good. I think it looks fantastic, but it might not be good.
I liked the trailer. I'll
Yeah.
watch it.
I want to watch it, but I'm not gonna go to the
Not
theater.
in the theater.
and see it.
I'm not.
Right.
No, fuck that.
They should have just released it to stream to.
Well, speaking of,
Yeah, I
I'd
guess
imagine
I don't
that
know
they
why I
will.
just said that. What'd you say, Mike?
I said I imagine that they will though. Like they'll probably give it a little bit to see how the theatrical run does, and then to try to capitalize on a little bit of extra income, they'll probably kick it over to the streaming service.
Or
at
like-
least I'd assume.
or like triple what they got. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be like $23. Be like $23.99. Buy it digitally. You know, it'll be like buying it on the Xbox store. That's
Right.
to segue into the next thing. You're gonna buy the movie on the fucking streaming thing.
So when you do that, like as far as that's concerned, you have it as long as you have an active subscription, correct?
No, you'll keep it because you bought it, right? Okay, Corey, go ahead.
Yeah.
What is the deal? I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
let's segue here because this is the problem. So Disney, it started with back when COVID started hitting hard and quarantine started happening, and they started not releasing movies into theaters. I think that like the last one was that Vin Diesel movie. What was that movie called? Shot Bloodshot.
Bloodshot.
I think that was like the last one to release in theaters. And Universal was supposed to release Trolls World Tour movie in theaters, and they pulled out at the last second, right after Bloodshot came out. And AMC threw a fit. Like, they were like, we already have all these cutouts, you know, and publicity and all this stuff and things ready to go. You can't pull out this late. And they got into a big fight with Universal, and they actually banned Universal from releasing movies in the AMC theaters.
Ooh.
Since then, fast forward to like June, I guess they made up. They figured things out, and blah blah blah. And Universal was supposed to start re-releasing movies in 2021. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, when Mulan was supposed to push for their release date, and it was supposed to release in the AMC theaters. So AMC got ready. They bought all their billboard, their cutouts and stuff. They got everything ready, all their cups and things with the pictures on them that cost $15. And Disney pulled it from them and said, we're releasing it to our Disney Plus streaming service. And all I saw was a video of one of the CEOs of AMC. He made a video of himself in the lobby of an AMC theater, like drop kicking a Mulan like cutout and like beating the crap out of it. And I was like, oh man, like this kind of goes back to what we talked about in a prior podcast of like what's the future of movies, like. So like, just to kind of stay on that topic for a second before we get to the Disney Plus thing. Is that okay? Like, what do you guys think about them, like, not, like, doing it at the last second?
That's bad.
Yeah, they should have at least reimbursed them for that, because like theaters is where that's what it's built on. Like where what we grew up going to see those, like all the steam and stuff, going to see the original Lion King and stuff like that as kids, and like the movie theater, like why are you going to turn around and just like do someone dirty like that? Like that doesn't sit well with me.
And could you imagine it being 1998 or whenever Lion King came out, or like for Trolls, McDonald's has all the toys made.
Oh, they released the toys.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
you can
kids still watch the
it.
movie.
But it's about this. It's still the same thing though, because like you can go get the Troll toy at McDonald's, and then go to the movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's like both of that too. Your
Yeah.
ritualistic things of all of that go away as well. Like with the nostalgia that we have of going to a movie or whatever. Like mine was get to go to Peachin's for all you can eat spaghetti, and then the Laurel Mall for Aladdin. You know, like that was a good one. But no, the theater, you gotta have it. I hope that there will be a world where there is still a theater for movies, and not the drive-in. It's not the same fucking thing.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, it's
Right.
wild that like like that's what I was gonna say about the drive-ins and stuff too. Is that I don't want to see theaters become the drive-ins, but it's also insane that drive-in theaters for like the first time in a long time are seeing that uptick between like concerts and just like screening old films and stuff like that during all of this. Like I
And-
never expected that to get like flipped and become almost like a vinyl record type of like nostalgia thing. You know what
It's
I mean?
Right.
Like,
it's a weird thing because now bigger companies, AMC Theater, AMC the company, has now started buying property off of farm owners and large property owners in the United States and are opening their own drive-ins.
I'm entirely okay with that. That's
Are you
amazing
okay
to
with
me.
that? Is it
I think that's fine with me. Like, I mean, you
a
gotta do what you
commercial
gotta do.
drive-in rather than a locally owned drive-in?
I mean, I guess but that
Yeah,
should
we're-
at least open the door for the same thing too. Because if they're going to start doing that, and it gets like the demand, like what's to stop somebody with a lot of land from opening their own privatized driving without like getting their like toes stepped on by corporations and that side of things? Like, I feel like a
Right.
desire for that would be healthy for the business in general, especially for people that have been maintaining them for however many years, like the Comet and Evergreen, like around here. Which I'm surprised that we have two so close to one another,
Right.
given that like there's how many left across the country, like.
Evergreen had a
Right.
hell of a time staying open because of the switch to the digital only. All the bigger Hollywood companies said that they weren't doing real anymore, and all these drive-ins.
One of these projectors.
Yeah,
man. We
all
got
these
our
drive-ins
fucking
were like,
good
we
ones.
have real projectors. Like, we can't afford Cinemax projectors. Like, that's crazy. So, like, Evergreen took a donation thing out for theirs, and they ended up actually getting enough for all 3 screens. Comet, it survives on its flea markets. It only has 1 screen open. It's not that great, but I like its flea market.
It's got a good flea market.
Right.
That's what it takes to keep the movies rolling, man. That's fine with me.
Yeah, it'll be weird to see this surge because I was reading about the whole the AMC buying land out of nowhere. Like, it was a big thing. Like, everybody was like, why are they buying like large chunks of land? And then it came out that they were trying to push to start these big commercial drive-ins, because if this is it, like if this is it going forward, things are going to have to adapt or die. And
Well, a buddy of mine has like I can't remember what the premium pass is for AMC theaters or whatever, but they did send out like a courtesy email to him the other day talking about just being like, I know things are weird. We're not going anywhere. We're doing everything that we can to make sure that we're sticking around. So like, at least that gives me hope that like we'll have something there, because it's just like, I don't know. Like, I would think back to going to midnight releases of films like The Dark Knight and stuff like that. I don't care how many buddies you have over sitting on the couch. It's not going to resonate like waiting in the parking lot, all like anticipated, waiting for those doors to open to rush in and see something like that for the
And-
first time.
And I don't have, nor will I have, because I have headphones for like, if I really want to immerse myself in a film at home, I'm not going to have a fucking surround sound system.
Right.
So you go to the fucking theater and you hear I will say- the movie that made me fall in love completely, and this is after like first one that like really I was like, oh man, fucking movies, was Matrix Revolutions. Even though it's not a great movie, it's an action-packed movie. And then I saw, I think, Return. Yeah, it would have been Return of the King in the
oh,
theater.
that would have been good.
Fuck yes. So yes, or no, Return and then Matrix, whatever. Either way, but like you said, midnight releases, Star Wars Episode 2 and 3
Yeah, I went
with
to Phantom Menace.
lightsaber duels. Oh yeah, because you were fucking 5.
I
or
still
6.
went.
Yeah, you did, because I was in like, no, you weren't 6.
No,
You
I
were
was like
9,
9 or 10.
8
yeah.
or 9. Yeah, because I was in like 6th grade, I think, when that came out. So you were in 5th or 4th or
Yeah, so-
whatever. Either way, it's lightsaber duels with your buddies in front of the screen before it starts, and then you're like, yeah, back to my seat. I don't know. It's that. It's the feeling of the theater. And you said, yeah, I'm down for the drive-in, but it's still not the same thing, because I feel like the drive-in is more like where you can go drink beer and smoke weed and still kind of watch the movie or get laid. It's more of like a hangout party. It's more of your buddies kind
This
of
sounds
thing.
terrible.
That's why the commercial thing, the commercial driving.
Oh, you know they're gonna have
sounds like a
chaperones walking
really-
around like
around
shining flashlights in
looking-
your
yeah,
car,
and
and
you're
shit.
like, man, you're like, oh, I smell skunks. I'm like, oh, Nick, gonna die.
No, okay,
Fuck.
so talking
You
from
know?
a perspective that you guys are not looking at, my daughter has never been to a movie theater.
Whoa.
So she, it's one of those things where she won't miss it because she's never experienced it. She's used to being like, oh, there's a new movie on the screen, Dad, I want to watch that. Boom, it's right there in front of her.
So if
But
now,
she's also
then,
she's been to the drive-in.
okay.
I have taken her to the drive-in twice, and she loves it because we go with my brother, and her cousins are there, and they're running around playing with the ball and stuff. Then they get on their blanket and they cuddle
It's
up.
party
and-
time.
Well, no, when the movie comes on, they do. They get
They
on the
watch it.
blanket and they watch it. We watched Toy Story 4, and they loved it. So, and that's a little bit more of a nice experience because people hate when you take your kids to a movie theater.
Oh yes, I'm that guy. I'm like, hey, I will wring your fucking kid's neck if you don't shut him the fuck up now. Okay, thank you.
So the drive-in has always been easier accessible with a small child, like under 5. Obviously, when she's getting to like 8 or 9 or 10, hopefully at that point in time we have movie theaters and I can take her to see the movie or whatever. But it's a weird thing, and I hope that movie theaters are able to recover from what's happening right now, because it seems like these big companies are just not worried about them at all.
Right. Well, because they know that the ease of it will appease the masses. They're fine with it. Like, it's just what you said. She's like, she's used to seeing, hey, there's this. And it's not even just she being, 4?
Yeah.
It's those who are even 8. They may have been to the theater, but it's also the, like, okay, you can go get groceries at the store, but I don't go get groceries. It's fucking 2020. I have them brought to my house. So it's the same thing. Stand in line and be like, you fucking cunt. I hate this. I'm waiting in line for this shit. There's also that too. So then I can just watch it at my house. Day it comes out, oh, hey, brand new. I just watched it at my house.
Well, you got to think about things getting escalated with the bombings and the shootings and
Well,
just
that too, yeah.
creepers. And like it gets worse and worse, and like taking your kid to a theater is just like sketchy sometimes, you know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance of that just about everywhere, though. Anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
sad world that we live in. That it really like I try not to let I mean, I won't lie. We go into midnight releases every once in a while. Post like what happened for the
Dark
for the
Knight.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I felt strange about it, you know. Like I was aware of my surroundings there for a while, just because it was an uncomfortable situation to be in. Like, and just imagining what those people went through, like me having, like them sharing the level of excitement I have for something like that, and then something like that just coming around, and somebody feeling the need to ruin lives and that experience for everybody is nuts to me. But yeah, I try not to let it bother me too much anymore. Like, I mean, it's just part of life. Sadly, is what it's become. But
No, I definitely don't. I try not to let it bother me. But when when I have my child with me, I have to think about
yeah.
it more. And
I can't even imagine how much of a difference that makes for any circumstance whatsoever.
Yeah, and I mean in the drive-ins, just like I don't know, obviously James, you moved out of this area, but like you have lived in this area, and our area is like still in this bubble
Of smallness, of like,
yeah, so like
seclusion to a degree.
I feel safer going to the drive-in with the country bumpkins than I do going to like Lowe's Theater or something, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because you never know. There's also, You'll get those. I feel like, I hate to say this, but it's like the crime thing. Someone who is up to no good or is on drugs, like, too bad, they can't handle themselves. That's when shit like that goes down.
Yeah.
Or the, like, breaking. I'm not talking shootings. I'm just like, maybe like a kidnapping.
Right.
You know, for kids, you're like, well, I'm desperate, I'm on the run, so I'm going to take this kid as, like, leverage to get out. People are nuts. It's like, so in more densely populated areas, it becomes, don't get me wrong, me living in a more urban area, I'm all of the time. I don't leave. I come home and I don't leave.
Okay.
And if I
All right.
If I have band practice, I go to band practice. I go to work. I don't try to go unless it was like shows. And this is like quarantine time now. It's forced me. I don't leave my house. I do to go to work, and I go outside to take the dog out, but I'm not trying to go to the store.
Right.
So as much as I want the theater to be back, if it doesn't, I'm not missing it right now. Truly.
No, baby, not right now.
But
So-
I do miss the experience. It's something you really want for that movie you really want.
Right. So,
Absolutely.
stemming into what the topic was, Disney Plus pulled Mulan from the AMC theaters and announced that it would be releasing it to its Disney Plus streaming service. So, you would think, oh, well, if I have a subscription to the Disney Plus, then I'm going to get to see this new movie, right? No. You will have to pay an additional fee to watch the movie that is released on top of your monthly or yearly subscription of $30.
Whoa.
And you will only be able to watch it one time.
What?
So basically, like, this is how I try to explain it, because I was talking to a buddy of mine at work, and I tried to explain it to him because he was like, holy shit, $30, I wouldn't pay $30 for Mulan, and I said I wouldn't either, but this is what the company's looking at. They're selling you a ticket per household.
Right, so the multiple.
They don't know how many people are
you're
in your
making
house.
Money. You can invite your friends over. It's a watching party. It's a viewing party, and it's 12 people there.
Right.
And you kind of have to attach a higher price tag to that too, because the moment that it hits the internet, piracy is going to grab a hold of it, and that's immediately going to take however much of your, like, as soon as a movie, like, you got to best like a camera quality as somebody filming a movie when it came out in theaters, but the moment they put something in
Screen
4K
cap.
on a streaming service or a
Right.
streaming service, it's right there, like, for anybody that's inclined to look for it.
Right.
So
But so the question is, they're setting the precedent. Obviously, some movies in the time of quarantine and all this stuff have released straight to digital. Invisible Man, Bloodshot, Trolls World Tour. All these movies have released straight to. My personal rental platform is Vudu. I like Vudu. I use it a lot. I wanted to see Invisible Man when it came out. And I stared at it for those 3 months that I was off work, wanting to watch it, but knowing that I would have to pay $25 to watch it one time. Because they were doing the same thing. They were doing a one-time watch, one-time view. And I knew, I told myself, I understand that they don't know if I'm inviting over 50 people. Makes sense. But I waited until it finally was off the list of home theater, and they sold it to me, and I bought it for $15.
Right.
Is that what everybody's going to do? With even
Well,
Mulan?
And yes, why even do that? Why even try? Because, like, the exclusivity of it goes away.
Yeah.
With it being like, oh, hey, you're special because you could spend the $30, or you're that much of a sucker to do that, when you can literally wait 2-3 weeks and buy it for $10 less, and then you have it forever. So, like, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it really just depends on the movie for me. Because I mean, for like say attaching that to like some sort of like Disney originals or something like that, I'm like, meh. But if somebody was like, hey, if you pay me $30, you can watch Tenet right now, I'd be like, here's my money. Like, so like, it really just depends on how excited you are like to watch it.
True.
I guess.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, there
And
hasn't
that's the thing.
there hasn't
I
been a
guess
movie
it's
that I'm
your
excited for
prerogative in a while.
Right. I feel like I was gonna say
2049.
Endgame. I was gonna say
2049.
Endgame.
Was
I-
my last one.
I feel like Endgame would have been like a lot of people's like, okay,
And Lighthouse.
I would have bought Lighthouse, but no one else in the world would have.
Yeah, right.
It
True.
didn't make any money. No one saw that movie, but goddamn, that movie is one of the most brilliant movies I've ever seen in my
It's
life.
pretty good. It's pretty good.
But no, I feel like Endgame would be one of those movies where it probably wouldn't matter if they would have released that straight and then said it's $50. People probably would have paid for it. But a reboot, a live action reboot of a 90s cartoon that no one asked for. I don't know. Are there people hyped for Mulan?
I honestly couldn't tell you. Not that I've heard, not that I've heard
Right,
firsthand,
right,
but I'm
I
sure
don't
there's
know.
somebody out there that's just like, come on, Mulan.
It looks good. I watched
Yeah,
the trailer
so it
for
would
it. It looks pretty good, but like I don't see them making any money off of it. I don't see how. Well,
I've just like changed with age as far as that goes too, so it's hard for me to say that. Because like go back 10 years ago, just about like every month and a half there was a movie that came out in theaters that I absolutely had to go see. But like as I've gotten older and stuff like that, there's a handful that I'll like latch on to. Same with most forms of media, whether that be albums or
Right.
video games or whatever. It really takes somebody like really shaking things up for me to get the level of excitement that I used to have. So I'm sure there's like a younger generation of people that are super excited for a lot of these, but like I just don't share that.
that's probably where the only place where they're gonna get their money is kids. Kids convincing their parents that I need to watch this right now.
Right.
Like
I was that kid.
Like, well, I mean, there's a lot of people. Like, I've done it for Stella. She sees something, and I'm like, heck, whatever, I'll buy it. Even though if I waited a couple weeks, it'd probably be on Netflix or whatever. Whatever. That's just spoiling your kid. That's just
Yeah,
whatever.
It's a memory to see their face light up in that anticipation when they know that they can like finally have that. Like so, like I get that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that really rubbed me the wrong way was them pulling it so late. It's a subscription service. Like, I mean, I know it's
You're already paying.
but
Yeah.
it is like the cheapest subscription service around. It's $6 a month. Like Netflix is like
Well, I mean,
12
that's
now?
you get what you pay for. That's what you get. What you pay for. You get all of the shit, and then the sum that you like. Because I'm not the biggest Disney fan. We're not all watching the fucking Lilo and Stitch cartoon.
Mandalorian,
You know, we're watching the Mandalorian. I'm watching
Mighty
like,
Ducks.
Mighty Ducks. I was just gonna say Mighty Ducks. What is Homeward? Yeah, those two. You're watching those, and The Lion King and Aladdin because we grew up on them, whatever. But that's what $6 2 copies of every Disney movie unopened on VHS. So like, and my opened ones too.
Yeah, well, and they're just trying to. I mean, it's mainly just because they're competing. Because technically, if they re-release any of these old classics on from the vault,
Right, and they're $40.
Yeah, they
for the
charge
platinum DVD
insane
edition.
amounts.
You're like, what
and,
in the fuck is going on?
and adults with kids that are my age that are
Or like, no.
nostalgic, they buy them. No, they buy
Oh,
them
yeah,
for their
true.
kids because they want that in their kid's life. And before the streaming service, that's all you could do.
True.
But now with the streaming service, yeah, you got all those Disney classics for $6 a month, and it's nothing.
Right, but I guess my point is that just general shit that's on there is pretty much shit.
Yeah.
We're not watching Kim Possible.
You're not
Or
watching
is that
Brink?
Speak for yourself.
No, I don't. I didn't hate. Isn't that Disney? Is Kim Possible Disney?
It's definitely Disney.
I think it was, but I didn't hate that show. It was whatever. But I'm just saying, we're not looking for that shit.
Hold on,
Or the
hold
new
on,
shit.
hold on, James.
What?
Name anything from Kim Possible.
Kim Possible.
No, not the main character and the name of the show. Anything else.
Didn't she have an animal friend? Wasn't it like a
Rufus,
hamster
dude.
or something?
A naked ass mole rat, bro.
Mole rat. It was a mole rat. Yeah, I knew
I
that.
just wanted to see if he actually has ever seen it.
Yeah, no, I watched
My-
it for sure. I would.
My
it would
dude,
be
Ron
on and I'd watch
Stoppable.
it.
I didn't know. I don't know anything about it. I never watched it.
Oh my god, Ben out here.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
Did
Mike.
I just leave myself vulnerable there for a moment?
Yeah, Mike's like, I know so much about this show, you fucking dick.
Never seen it.
Ever.
Oh.
Looks like I know what I'm watching to fall asleep to tonight. Pop a little Disney Plus on.
Hell, if you're ready to pull an all-nighter, you go right ahead and do it.
You gotta watch that shit straight through.
All 17 seasons. And the 2 spin-off shows.
Haven't
Alright.
slept in weeks.
All I know is there's some really good cosplay of Kim Possible. I'll tell you that.
I'm fucking sure. Fucking sure of that.
Ruining my childhood. Let me
Alright.
ask this though.
Um,
How about if they would set it up like if you would get everything, all the classic stuffs for Disney Plus for the $6-7 price tag that they have on it now, but you could pay $17 to $20 a month, and that would give you your Mandalorian, the theatrical releases, get one viewing per prescription, whatever. Would you consider that more fair, or is that still a little too steep?
$20.
I feel like it's a tiered thing. Okay, so no, I get what you're saying. The tiered thing of your staple, general like Disney catalog.
High
Here they
budget.
are. Low budget. You
Right.
get your general Disney catalog, and then you have your next tier of subscriptions, which are new shows and new movie releases. And then you can add another like $15 to be like platinum, and you get them a day early. You always have everything a day early. So like
Not bad.
that's how you make your money. You don't fuck people. Because
No,
then
no.
the people who are like, well, you know what, everybody else has it and I'm left out because they're watching it and I didn't get to watch it. You fuck them. Don't fuck them. Just make them be like, you know what, I am going to pay for that because I get it a day early. It make them feel a little better. You know, you play the psychology of it and you're like, yeah, I'm going to give you $25 more or $35 more. It'll be $30 a month rather than $6. But
Yep.
you get everything.
Well, the
there.
problem with doing that, as I think about it a little bit, because it's not a bad idea. It actually it would make people a little bit more comfortable because you get the things in the future, big
Right.
theatrical releases or whatever. But that's also the problem is big theatrical releases don't come like TV shows do.
They used to.
Yeah, well,
Before the pandemic, they
now
fucking
now it's more it's a Disney movie. I mean, yeah, you get maybe like 1 or 2 a year, maybe.
Well, but
Well,
Disney owning everything now, they should be able to have the fucking resources to get the shit done. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Marvel films alone, I feel like would be worth that because you're getting like what 3 of those a year now. So
year?
if you would get that like a day early, get to watch Black Widow, whatever the third Spider-Man's going to be titled, and then I can't remember the Multiverse of Madness. I think was the other one
Multiverse
slated.
of Madness, the what's Kung Fu dude? Yeah, I guess
Kung Fu Doo?
Kung Fu dude.
I didn't know that Jedi Kung Fu Doo.
It's not a bad name.
He's a Hutt. He was a bad Jedi.
We still have a
Is there any-
copyright on that now.
Is there any Hutts that are Jedi? That'd be
No,
weird.
but
That'd be weird.
Jedi Voodoo.
Like sliding around with a lightsaber in his hand.
But he's quick like Yoda.
He just slithers really
He's like
fast.
yeah.
All right, so the verdict is $30 for Mulan on top of your subscription. See it once.
Nah.
I'll give it a thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Fucking-
Yeah.
Fucking Matt.
Yeah. We got more reboots. Every week, something from our childhood gets ruined. We did a reboot show in season 1 of Strange Planet Podcast where we bitched about reboots. And I'm pretty sure I said back then, and I say it all the time, the day that they reboot Goonies, I'm done.
Is the day you kill
I'm
yourself.
done with movies.
No,
I'm
we
done
know.
with movies. I'm done with Hollywood. That's it.
Still haven't seen it.
Oh my god.
I know, man. At this point, I just don't want to watch it out of principle.
Yeah, just
Out of
no,
principle,
you're not-
what do you mean?
I've made it this long. I don't have to do it.
Oh.
I feel like it would wouldn't you rather me tell you that I haven't seen it than tell you that I watched it and felt lukewarm
Yes.
about it? At
You
this
wouldn't feel lukewarm
Absolutely.
about it.
Yes, you would. Yes, you
point?
would.
What?
That would turn into like a 30-minute argument that I'm not even prepared.
Yeah,
to
you
have.
don't even want to have it. Look at his face.
What the fuck?
No, okay.
I'm tearing
That's-
up here, man. I'm
listen,
tearing up.
Listen. That movie,
Is the greatest
I hate
movie of all time.
I hated it so much because here's how it went. Oh, hey, it's 5th grade. Hey, everybody, we're not going to do anything. We're going to watch the Goonies. Hey, it's 6th grade. It's the end of school. We're not going to do anything. Well, let's watch the Goonies. Hey, everybody, it's 7th grade. We're not going to do anything for the last 2 weeks of school. So what are you going to do in 4 of your 8 classes?
You got to
You're
watch
gonna
the Goonies in school?
in every class for the last 2 weeks.
What the hell?
I'm like, why? I'm so sick of this fucking movie. I just watched this. I just watched this last period. Can I please go to the band room and play my bass? Please let me leave.
We've
Please
got
let me leave.
Underexposed, perfectly exposed, and overexposed situations
Right.
of the Goonies here.
It's
I watch the Goonies once a month.
I
My whole life. Maybe twice. Maybe once
I
a
watch
week.
Legend, Dirty Dancing, and one of the Lord of the Rings films once a month.
If you can watch Dirty Dancing once a fucking
'Cause
week, because
Dirty
I love
Dancing-
Dirty Dancing. It's one of the greatest movies
Once a
of all
month.
time.
Yeah, I know. Once a month.
The Goonies is right there with it.
Okay, it's not a bad movie. I just can't stand it at this point. That's just how it is. It's like
Okay,
how
so at this point,
a lot of classic rock that people love. It's not bad. I just can't fucking
at
stand
this
it.
point, James has said that he doesn't like it, Mike.
But it's not bad. You should watch it.
He hasn't said one bad thing about the actual movie.
No, I just hate it because of my experience with it.
So just
James?
keep that in mind.
You watch season 1 of Kim Possible, and I watch the Goonies.
all right,
And this is
All
documented.
all right, it is. Something
We'll
like
live
that.
stream. We'll live stream us all watching Kim Possible season 1 and then
Why?
Goonies.
Well, it is Kim Possible, so I might have to put a blanket over the camera while we. Never mind.
Oh my.
I can't believe I just
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you so much.
no. It's like
I was here to have fun, not to cause you pain.
Well,
it's,
that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing. Right?
it's like that's my it's
Life at your.
well it's me it is that's how I I don't know, I don't even know how to describe that's a movie in my life incarnate in a movie.
Searching for the treasure.
I went on adventures like that all the time with a bunch of buddies. We would just go. Our parents didn't know where we were at, and we were finding old ruins up in my woods or going down and going places we weren't allowed. That's just what we did, And to see that on a movie and see their home is being taken away from them by the rich dudes, and they actually stop it from happening, and it's come on. That's like Stand By Me, but for
The adventurous.
yeah.
The
I mean, they went on an adventure
fantastical.
too.
For the fantastic.
Found a dead body.
Yeah. See, I was gonna bring that. I saw that movie super young, so maybe that's part
Yeah,
of it
same.
too. Now it's just I'm cool on the adventures now, guys, because there's nothing good at the end.
Right. There's gonna be dead people everywhere.
Leeches and dead bodies. That's
And
just-
dead kids.
No, because if you talk to my oldest brother, Stand By Me is his movie. That's his adventure, teenage, coming of age movie.
I was just I was gonna say, what were we talking about?
I don't remember.
Fresh Prince.
Reboots. We didn't even talk. We didn't even mention it yet. I just
That's
said
what
reboots.
you were gonna say. You were segueing
I gotta
with the
pick my
reboots.
wedgie.
I was gonna say, let's skip this one.
Skip what?
Guys, I'll be back in just a second.
The next one.
I mean, we're already almost on an hour.
Oh, we're like
We're
2
at
minutes.
55 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes or so. But which is it's not a big deal. I'm
I don't
not
care.
trying to run off. I
Right.
just want to like give each thing its real weight.
Well, we can just breeze through the Fresh Prince thing. So, Fresh Prince is being rebooted. We all watched the trailer. It's being brought into the modern age as a drama, more of a drama. I mean, there were parts in the original Prince,
Okay, that's
that were
what I
dramatic.
wrote down. Yes.
but it was also a comedy.
It was a comedy mainly.
Right. Yeah,
was
heavy.
mainly a
It was
comedy.
heavily a heavily.
Mainly.
Yes.
Generally and overall.
This looks like it's switched. It's more dramatic with some comedic.
snippets of
Yes.
comedy.
And they got to do little things to throw back to the show.
Right.
They do like the DJ Jazzy Jeff. They do their little handshake and they're like, psst.
Yeah. Did all that thing. That was. As I watched the trailer, I dig it. Like I wrote, I dig it only because it's not sugar coated. I feel like it's more of a an actual, and I don't know, but it's more of a like it's trying to be more of a representation of a kid who got caught with a gun and goes to live to be rehabilitated. You know, he's still having a little bit of a hard time. That didn't really happen in the show. Like we said,
I was
it's
gonna
more
say,
of a
did
comedy.
they never said that he had a gun.
He got in. I
Got a
got
fight.
one little fight. My mom got scared. No, he wasn't like fucking gonna shoot somebody if need be. So it's a little more like realistic in the respect that shit like
modern.
that happens.
It's a modern
you
era.
know? It's a modern era of that. But it's also, with that being said, to be pretty serious on it, it's more modern in respect that it's not being painted over, glossed over with this comedy thing. It's being brought more to the light that, like, that shit's real. You know what I mean? It's like, I like it. When you were saying it's a show, I'm like, I don't need a serious show. But since it's just a movie, and it kind of still having the intent, I'm okay with it. I think it'll be all right. What else did I write here? Hold on.
Wow.
No, and that's what I put mainly, is that the old one, it had those serious ones. The Uncle Phil snippets in the trailer, he is like, he's not that guy, but he's spot on, because that guy's dead. But it is spot on Uncle Phil. Like, him being like, this is how it is, and it's cool, but that's how it's gotta be. And that's kind of how it always was. There was always that, like, air, because I love that show.
Agreed.
It's that air of, like, fear of the father figure that he didn't have, but he now has.
Right.
So I think that's going to be more, so that's why it wasn't in the trailer. I thought the trailer was good too, because I think we're going to like it more once we see it. Because as I watched it, I was like, I think I'm going to like this more actually watching it, because the trailer it gave me the whole movie, but I didn't see the stuff I'll like.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Michael?
I didn't expect it. Like, I didn't really look into it at all whenever it was announced, so I was super surprised by the teaser or the trailer in general. But that's interesting. Like, I'm all for like the gritty like retellings and stuff. Like, it's interesting for us to look from it from this side of the fence and like be familiar with the original and then watch like the grittier retelling. But I'm interested to see people that have no idea about the original show like watch this and then try to double back and see what the source material was.
Like,
Yeah,
are
I
we
mean-
gonna get that at some point? Like,
Like, will we get the theme song? It's a legitimate question in my mind sometimes.
Right.
it doesn't
How you
look
gonna-
like it.
How are you going to rework that?
No, because that's what I said when I first saw it. I didn't see that trailer that I just sent you guys. It was on Twitter, and it was like a teaser, and it had an intro to it. And it started playing music and a beat that threw back to that, but wasn't that. It was more modern R&B, hip-hop, and then someone started rapping over it.
but not the song.
No, not
So,
the song at all.
but I feel like what's gonna happen if they do, it'll be like one of the parts in Project Power I didn't like,
Oh, jeez.
and he'll just be like, he'll be in English class, then he'll walk up and be like, you know, he had to give him a heartfelt poem, and he'll go, in West Philadelphia, I was
Born and raised.
born and raised. On the playground is where I spent most of my days. And then there we are, and you're like, Jesus.
Oh!
Yeah, that's the part. That's what we'll get for the theme song.
Pulled
I can
one
promise
little gun
you
and
that.
My mom got scared.
No, I pulled one little gun. Yeah, I got one. No, did you watch Project Power, Mike?
I did not know.
It's
Please watch
good.
it. Let's talk
Don't
about
listen to James.
it. Please watch it and let's
It's
talk
really
about
good.
it. No,
And it has
I'm
good
not-
messages.
here's the thing.
It has a good cast. I like that they didn't
cast
push it
is
in your
amazing.
face about what the background themes were, but they were there.
They were, but it could have been.
I like the line where Jamie Foxx says, "You're a black woman. This society is meant to swallow you. Like,
Well,
find
yeah,
your
that's a
real
good
power." And
Yes,
and
the lines, some of it's good, and some of it's really corny. The ideas are great. The execution is a little shoddy in my
it's
opinion.
superpowers.
Well, no,
I
all
thought they
of
actually did
that's
very
fine. No,
well with the,
all of that's fine. It's the adding into. It's what you like about the morality stuff.
I did like the
Adding
morality
with
stuff.
the cop mentoring, the criminal / I'm saving my daughter mentoring. Like, there's too much of that. She only needed one mentor. One of them needed to be a bad influence.
Well, they
they
said that
weren't.
she was like she looked at Jamie Foxx. She looked at Jamie Foxx's character, or no, she looked at Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character once, and he was like,
Mike hasn't
"I'm
seen
not your dad." And then she looked at Jamie Foxx's character a little bit later, and he was like sitting there in the cop car, and he's like, "I'm not your dad." So she had two people put her down that she was looking to different places for. That's the point.
I will have to watch that. I did see about it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But like, I love me some Joseph Gordon-Levitt too, and Jamie
Oh,
Foxx
same,
also.
same,
So
So
that's just like
same.
a good selling point.
I was just all I wanted. What would have made it for me is when he was like, "Oh, you could rap, Jamie Foxx," because we all know he made music in his life and it's not good. And he also made a song on a movie that I love, and I think you guys probably at least enjoy it to an extent. But Willie Beeman, I was ready for him to be like, "Well, you know, I got the fans screaming, and all the ladies creaming," because he's Willie Beeman. I mean, I needed that. If he would have at least given me a little bit of Willie Beeman. Willie Beeman.
I mean, there's always deleted
That
scenes,
dance.
man. You never know.
He better do it. I bet he does it in an outtake. 'Cause
Probably does,
I would expect him to do that. And if I were like a key grip on that set, I'd be like, "Give me some Willie Beeman, Jesus fuck. This movie sucks."
Could
I
someone
need some Willie
export this
Beeman.
man on set, please?
Right, yes. Just make the ladies go. Look, the ladies are back here creaming. Give me a song.
Wow. All right, so Fresh Prince, everybody seems like they're on board.
Yeah, I'm
man.
on board.
I'll
I'll
definitely
watch
watch it.
All right, so
not in my home movie theater for $30, but I'll watch it when I
no,
can.
yeah, that's probably what they're gonna do. So we'll move on to the heavy stuff now because we're already over an hour, but we'll spend as much time as we want on the heavier stuff. So there was this isn't really part of that, but there was a shooting outside the White House. Was that last week?
I don't know. I did not know of that.
It was during a press conference or whatever, a thing where Trump was talking.
A press conference.
Yes, we're switching our letters today.
Q. Drary.
So he was speaking live, and a Secret Service agent had walked out on stage and whispered into it, and basically everybody heard it. He said, "I need you to come with me," and Trump was like, "Excuse me," and he was like, he said it again sternly, and Trump went, "Oh, okay," and he walked off stage. He returned like 5 or 10 minutes later, and he said that he apologized that there was a shooting outside, and that his agents took care of it quickly and with professionalism and all this stuff, and whatever. So we got a little bit more information on who the person was and why. Well, not why, but what they did. I guess there was a white older male in his 70s, and he was running towards the front gate of the White House. He screamed at the security guard dude. He screamed, "I have a weapon," or "I have a gun." And the dude pulled out his firearm and he said, "Stop or I will shoot." And the dude continued to run towards him. He said that he then put his hand in his jacket like he was about to pull a gun out. At this point, like 7 snipers popped up on top of the White House and they just lit this dude up.
Well, they said he even went as far as to, like, dropping into like a shooting stance as well too. From the way they described it, it sounded like he like took a knee and like as if he was going to fire. But from what I understood, that there was no weapon actually found on the guy either, so I'm not exactly sure. I was reading something about speaking to his sister and stuff like that, said it didn't seem like the type of dude to do that. He's always the one to motivate people, so like I didn't really know what to make of that story, like as far as that was concerned. Like I didn't really catch any motive of any sorts.
No, I read that he wasn't armed. That was the last thing I read in the article that I had read, and I just couldn't help but think, sounds like the dude wanted to die, right?
I mean, that's how the suicide by Secret Service. I mean, also could be the type of, I don't know how close this was to any type of outdoor protesting. And when I read that, some behavior like that, my thought would be like forcing a Secret Service officer to draw and fire a firearm might cause an uproar and everybody else around. But I also didn't really read anything about how close that was to anybody else. From the way they described it, it made it seem like a completely isolated incident.
Yeah,
so I don't really know.
That's what it sounded like when I read it too. And it just sounded like, to me, you're running up, you know what's going to happen, you're verbally announcing, "I have a weapon," you're getting into the stance like you're going to fire, you don't have a weapon. That's a death wish.
Absolutely.
Like, you're committing suicide by, like, I don't know, going out in a bang, like.
Well, it's like you being like, "All right, oh, there's a guy on me. Oh, he's on me. There's 3 of them," and I'm like, "I'm coming. I got you." And you're laying there dead, and I'm like, "Pop, pop, pop. Okay, I'm dead." That's what that is. You know.
Well, they got him in the torso, and he didn't die. He's still in critical condition, if I'm not mistaken, from what I read. So I'm assuming
I thought he was dead.
That. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was what I saw, because I kind of scanned through some stuff before we did the podcast too. Because to be honest, I didn't follow it too much when it happened. Yeah. But like if he does recover, I'll be interested to see what comes from that, and if we get any official statement on his end as far as that's concerned, or if they'll just kind of try to sweep that under the rug and not talk about it.
Hell yeah, I'm
that's
very
probably how
curious.
That's gonna go.
I'm very curious because I thought they just destroyed him and he was dead, and like I just read that he didn't have a weapon on him. I did not hear that he was still alive. Yeah, man, if he comes through.
I do appreciate, at least it was like, from the sound of it, it was like the dude did what he had to do, brought his gun up, took a single shot. Like, I appreciate that they didn't just like kind of unload on this guy, like did what they had to do to stop him and put him down, and then that was right. The end of it.
Professional. It's just, this is the first technical. I guess it wasn't an attempt on Trump because they weren't actually in where he was having the conference.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, yeah, I wouldn't even categorize that. I wouldn't give him that sort of credit. No, because if we don't know there was a weapon for certain, nobody saw it, there's no like video, and here's my thing too, like how many things happen in the world that happen that there's at least some sort of video. There's a video of an almost fucking what looked to me like a nuclear explosion in Beirut a couple weeks ago.
That was absolutely insane.
What in the actual fuck? I'm sorry, you want to tell me that's ammonium nitrate? That was who even stores that much that can blow up like that? I don't think that should be allowed. You know what I mean?
Well, from what I understood as far as that was concerned, not to veer off topic.
No, we're good.
Was that, there was a cargo ship that was coming through. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it didn't have the funds to sustain itself eventually, so they had to stop the ship. They made
and offload it.
Yeah, well, they kept on talking to the government about getting it out of there, getting it out of there, getting it out of there, and they didn't. And so eventually, I guess they just took what was on the ship, stored it there, and it sat there for forever, and nobody addressed it until somebody, essentially lit a match.
Somebody fucked up. Somebody fucked up and didn't know it was there. Jeez.
Talk about a colossal fuck up, man. I fuck up daily at work, and I feel so bad about it. Could you imagine just like leveling the city?
Right.
Oh, I saw the first video, and they were like, bomb goes off. Like,
Well, that dude
explosion in
would not
Beirut.
have imagined it. That dude didn't imagine it. He just saw it and was done.
I was not prepared for that type, for what I was about to see when I saw
I
it
know.
at all. I assumed that I was looking at the aftermath of what already just happened with the building.
Oh,
in
with the
flames.
smoke? Yeah,
Right.
me too.
I was like, wow, man. I was like, that's awful. Like, I wonder
And then-
what happened here. Yeah, exactly. And like, you get the different angles and videos of people from there was windows blown out miles upon miles away.
It was what, like
insane.
10 kilometer actual wave. It was felt that far.
Oh, it's absolutely terrifying.
intense.
So the power of a low tier nuclear blast is exactly what happened, and that's just I haven't seen anything like that since watching test videos and stuff like that, or talks to Hiroshima back in the day and stuff like that. So seeing something of that magnitude in today's age captured from all these different cell phone angles and stuff like that made me
Nuts.
sick to my stomach, dude. It was insane.
No, yeah, it was that video because I think I might have clicked on the same one, the first one maybe that you guys clicked on, because I was on Twitter and I was just scrolling down through and somebody was like, "Oh, there was a bombing in Beirut," and I clicked on it and it was just the building smoking a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, that sucks," and then everything dude just dove behind his bed with his camera.
What the fuck?
I was like, "What the fuck?" I
And then
can't
for
imagine.
a day, everybody's like, "Well, it's a fireworks factory, so that's you can see the fireworks flashes." I was like, "Are you out of your mind?"
Right.
Unless they're shaving quarter sticks off of a mile long block of
Right.
Right.
that. Jeez, man. Ugh.
I need myself a beer.
Well, we're gonna do this one last real quick.
Okay.
We're at 1:15. I gotta. My daughter's been pounding on the door for the past half
Gotcha.
hour.
All right.
I don't know. If I was debating on today whether I was gonna mention where I got this from. So I'm just gonna. I watched a podcast, Cooper's podcast. He's a Christian metal singer or something like that. But I watched a good bit of it. He had a lot of good ideas. And one thing that I took away from it, he said that we're living in a post-truth society. And that kind of means there is no truth. No one believes anything that you say. You don't believe what I say, and I don't believe what you say. Your perspective is the only thing that matters. And that's why everything is in chaos right now. Everything. Not just one, you just don't look at the political side of it. You don't look at the COVID thing that's going on. You're not looking at if you hate Trump or not, or if it's all over the place. Everything's coming out in different directions, and no one knows where to look. I just wanted to hear you guys' perspective of, are we living in a post-truth society?
I mean, I think so, man. Legitimately, it's rough to watch and just I just don't know how to because I see that stuff in my day-to-day life anymore. It's just there's so much misinformation out there in general that as long as somebody can disprove 5% of anything, whether there's 95% truth to that or not, it's enough to toss out the whole argument in most people's minds. And on all sides of the fence, especially in times now, whether it be the political race and things like that, or the COVID response, somebody's always trying to be seen. And even looking at the Disney Plus, having $30 on to watch a movie, they're doing what they need to do. And some people will do that stuff behind the scenes. You catch somebody, putting their hand in the cookie jar, that's enough to throw out that whole side of the argument in most people's minds. So but you get that on both sides of the fence too. So there's nobody specific to blame for that. It's just people don't trust each other enough anymore, or people's intentions at face value to believe what they're told. And it's scary because even though some people will do that and toss out things that they very much should be ignoring and not listen to, at the same time, there's a lot of facts that are being discarded and swept under the rug for that same purpose. So,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Like, I totally... I agree with all of everything you said. And it actually... I don't want to fucking spitball and get, like, scatterbrained on this, but when it comes to truth and not believing people, I've said this many times, and this is where I go off topic a little bit, but I think that the internet has a lot to do with it. You know, we have such an access to all of this information, be it true or misinformation. And my point that is the offshoot is that we're quick to look at our phone. I grab my phone, oh, I'm on Facebook. Man, my buddy from high school that I thought was a decent guy shared this, and wow, that's it. And like you said, 5% of it's true, and 95 isn't. But the 5% pandered to my opinion.
Right.
So I'm now into that, and I'm cool on that. But yet, and that's him. I haven't seen him. He now lives in Minnesota, and I haven't seen him. This isn't a real person. It's just a hypothetical. And I believe it. So now I'm going to share it, and everybody here sees it, and then they see it. But yet, most of us don't know the person that lives right across the fucking street.
Right.
And that person across the street can say, hey, there were like 2 stray dogs out back. And I'm like, no, they weren't. Because I didn't believe him. Because he's an old coot, whatever. You know,
Right.
like that's my thing. Like with the truth, we don't believe, and I think that has a lot to do with it. That's my point. I think a lot of what that is in a lot of what we're seeing, we're like, we can't go to the movie theater. I don't like being around people, but I still do it. I do like conversation, and I'll talk to a fucking random person at the bar anytime. But we have so much connection to whatever fact we may think it is in our phone, but yet we're so reticent to actually speak to the person passing us on the fucking street, where they're right there.
Right.
And all of what's happening is kind of creating this idea of, well, don't talk to them. Don't be near that person. Don't be in the store and have a casual conversation at the fucking card aisle getting a birthday card for your buddy's kid. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't fucking do
Everyone's the
that
enemy.
anymore. It's, yeah, so it like creates this separation of, we don't know what is true.
No.
So if we're living in this post-truth society, yeah, I definitely agree. So Mike said, yeah, I agree, and then I was like, blah, 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 blah. I agree. But I do agree that it's like that because there's been this creation of separation.
You also have a bombardment of
This idea of information.
information.
information fatigue is a real thing. Absolutely.
And the Mike said hands in the cookie jar. The internet is everyone's hands in the cookie jar. Any single person out there, any Joe Schmo can tweet something now that might not even be remotely true, and a billion people share it, and now all of a sudden a large chunk of the human society believe that one thing.
Yeah. It's like, did you hear Tom Hanks has an open relationship with his wife?
That's
Sorry,
hilarious. No, that's
I was
because
just
that's a good
thinking
example.
that, and you,
That's a good
yeah,
example.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
you're telling me he's available.
Yes, that's the only reason I let you know.
It's so I was
Gotta
watching
get to Greece though, because apparently he's a pedophile as well.
Oh,
But
that's
Oh my.
yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But no, I was watching a YouTube channel that I watch a lot, and they're a comedy YouTube channel, and they make jokes all the time. They make sexist jokes, they make racist jokes. It's just the thing that it's just whatever comes out natural. And that's not who they actually are, that's their persona that they put on camera. But one of them did say, very seriously, when they were talking about celebrities one day, they were talking about Tom Hanks, he just out of nowhere went, "Did you know him and his wife have an open relationship?" And the two dudes that were behind him that were bantering with him were like, they both stopped and they were like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." And the one dude was like, "I don't think so. That doesn't sound right." Whatever his wife's name is, she's an actress. He was like, "I don't think blah 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 would." And he's like, "Yeah, seriously, I know this 100%." And he starts looking it up on the computer in front of him, and then the first thing that pops up was dismissing and disproving that, and they were all like, "How many people did you tell that over the past how many years?" And he's like, "A lot." Like, it's just that easy. And that's just word of mouth. Like, word of mouth, that was always a thing when we were younger. Rumors are rumors. That happens. But with the internet, serious shit can be thrown around.
Well, and it's
very
so
easily.
easy to make. It's so easy to make a website.
Go to Wikipedia. Can't you change that shit?
You can on your own, yeah. Just as if you have an account, you just make it. You just add to it.
But it's just
Whatever.
that people do that stuff maliciously. It's not even about ignorance when it comes
Right.
to that. Like, people know that they
Yep.
can toss something out there and it'll snowball into something huge and that they can run with that. And that is scary. Like, if you look at, like, a buddy of mine were talking about this the other day, like the deep fake videos that they're doing with, like, throwing faces on other faces. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine once that gets more polished, the way people could use that against us and to just
Oh, yeah.
insert anybody saying anything anywhere at any given time, and everybody, based off of what I've seen, just
Right.
latch on to that. Like 25% of like social media will just take that and just run with it.
Facebook,
in place of
man.
their opinion. It's rough.
The
Like,
people that
it's
are on
terrifying.
Facebook that are like local people, just, man, anything, any little fake article that someone shares, just, like you said, snowballs so fast. And then I'll go over to my mom's house or I'll be talking to my grandma and it'll be brought up in conversation like it's a real thing. And I'm like, no, please, for the love of God. Like,
And like,
That's
you're
not
afraid to have
real.
those conversations with people because you're afraid that like it's going to spark an argument. Like, it sucks that you have to go around like concealed carrying your opinion because you're going to upset somebody regardless. Like, no matter what side of the fence you are, for a lot of the larger issues that are going on in like the country right now.
Well,
And
that
like,
was
it sucks.
one of the things that I had on the list that I took off from last week was that disagreeing.
You can.
You can't, but you also have to.
You're obligated to. Yeah, it's like you can't, but it's your.
Everyone does. No one
Right.
agrees anymore. Everyone disagrees on every subject, and if you disagree with me, you're my enemy now. That's it. There is no agree to disagree. If I dislike Trump and you like Trump, we are enemies. That's it. It's dealing in absolutes. I saw someone the other day say
Only
that,
the Sith deals that.
I know. I saw someone the other day actually post something saying that blah 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 blah. If this is an absolute, this is how it is. And I literally, my brain went to, only a Sith deals in absolutes. Like, how can you be so quick to have a conversation with someone that has been in your life? You're in, like you said about seeing that buddy of yours. Yeah, you haven't seen him in a while. Blah blah blah. You saw him on Facebook. He said something you don't disagree with. That's easy to be like, that dude's no longer. I can just unfollow
Right.
him. But someone that's personal, someone that's in your family, or someone that's been a friend that you see in your daily life, I don't understand how we can't have conversations anymore. Like you said about dancing around it, Mike. You have, like, it shouldn't be that way. You should be able to converse about topics that you don't agree with to learn, because the internet is not a good place to learn sometimes. Sometimes it is. But most of the time with, like, social issues.
Well,
and
most
things like
people
that-
don't learn through correct facets. They learn through Facebook or what you know, Bobby Sue's cousin, Timmy Bob, fucking posted. You know, it's that you're not getting actual information. And that's honestly too, it's weird. I am guilty of not really. I don't look many things up. I hear people talk about things, and you're like, well, that's bullshit. Or you're like, oh, okay. And I love conspiracy theories, so I'll hear one and I'll be like, so what is that? You know, I get some interesting ones from the right a lot. Get some crazy shit with your Trump lovers, I hear. Like, that's interesting. okay, and then I just like chuckle at it and move on. But I don't like, for me, I don't really look into things as much as I should,
Right.
because I want to, but yet there is so much that isn't, and
Well,
it's I'm not going out there trying to say other things otherwise. I'm opinionated, but I say it to you guys and shit, and I'll say it on here, but because I'm always cheeky. But like, it's still like you're allowed to have your opinion. You're totally allowed, and you should be able to say it. But you shouldn't be like just blackballed because you have it. So long as it's not really hurting anything, you can think what you want. You know what I mean? That's like you said, if you're a Trump supporter and I don't agree, I'm like, well, yeah, you think that. Cool.
Right.
Like you think, you like, say I'm an anti-abortionist and you are for abortion. And I'm like, oh, well, I think you're wrong, but okay. And then we'll have a discussion and it's fine. So long as you're not slaughtering babies, it doesn't really bother me. You know, and if you're for abortion, so long as I'm not giving money to prevent it, you have no real weight to say anything. It's just an opinion.
Right.
And people get too much like, well, this is my opinion and it's the truth, so blah. And you're like, okay, well, I thought I was just trying to say, like, I didn't really agree, but that's kind of cool you have yours. You know, there's none of that. Like you said, there's no agree to disagree. Like, we can't talk about this and then walk away, shake hands, say bye. No, it's like, I don't agree, you can go fuck yourself.
Well, that's like, and like everybody is entitled to their opinion and stuff like that. And without putting like a foot on either side of the fence as far as this is concerned, on an individual basis, that's true. But what concerns me the most is people that have a position of power, whether that be running a company or a chain or a conglomerate or, you know, running the United States or something like that, is that when you have an opinion like that, you kick it down the chain, that A, affects people if it's from a business standpoint. And if they want to keep their job or their life as they know it, they need to abide by that and dance around it. Or
Right.
people that attach on to certain larger people's, like, or larger figures' opinions in general, are going to follow that without question to begin with. So, like,
So then
it's-
it creates a movement at that point.
yeah, and that's what concerns me more than anything else, is that the lack of openness for discussion when it comes to that is what makes that problematic more than anything else, is that it just depends on where the opinion started from for a lot of things, and that people will latch onto that without question or without any research. But then it
Agreed.
comes back to the information fatigue that, like we were talking about too, is sometimes you don't want to go out and look things up things for yourself, because everywhere you look, like whether it be social media or going out to eat, like you can't sit down in a restaurant somewhere without catching somebody in passing that's talking about what's going on. You're just getting berated with all this stuff constantly, and it just doesn't leave room for like actually taking time to just form your own solid opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, guys, thanks for discussing this stuff with me. I don't want to.
No, you're not welcome.
Hey.
No, I'm kidding. You're welcome.
You.
Yeah, you're allowed to say it.
Stick
Um,
around for our back-to-back Kim Possible marathon. 24-hour stream.
Yeah. Impossible Goonies marathon. No, this was fun. I always enjoy it. I hope everybody watching enjoyed it. That was a very long one. It was an hour and a half. We usually cut off at an hour, but I'm glad we got to push it a little bit longer and talk about some things that we wanted to talk about.
Got him's all that.
Yep. We have been your hosts. I'm Corey James. This is...
Is that I'm on the bottom? I'm James May.
Mike Peterson.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.